Yo, what's going on? Welcome into the show. This is the San Francisco 49ers Report. My name is Chase Sr., and no matter where you are or how you're tuned in, thank you so much for making today's show a part of your day. It is Thursday, September 18th. Niners entering a Week 3 matchup at home against the Arizona Cardinals in their home opener at Levi's Stadium, and there's so much to talk about here on the show. Niners news, not the Globe. Coming up here on the show, developing news on the Brock Purdy injury front. A lot of encouraging developments through 2 games for San Francisco here in 2025. The Niners making a couple of roster moves that I want to talk about, and an issue that we have to monitor. On top of that, I want you to get your questions in for a mailbag because I want to chop it up and I want to talk Niners with all of you. So get those questions in right now for a Q&A. Use the hashtag 49ers or send in a super chat. Programming reminder, we're live for every single Niners game here on the channel, and so why stop? Niners, Cardinals, Week 3 watch party coming your way on Sunday. We'll be live for it right here on the show. Pre-game show, live during the game, post-game show as well. The best place to experience a Niners game day outside of being at the actual game. So don't forget to hit that subscribe button for daily Niners shows. But also hit that bell icon, turn on your notifications. Therefore, when we go live like this, when we push out a video, when we go live for a watch party, you will be notified. 225 people watching. As you come in here, please do me a favor and hit that thumbs up icon and like the video. The more likes that we get, the more people who find the stream and the more fun that we'll have. As for the latest on Brock Purdy here, and we'll talk more about Purdy throughout the show here today, suffered that turf toe injury in the second quarter of the season opener against the Seattle Seahawks in Week 1, and then he was inactive against the New Orleans Saints in Week 2. The original reported timeline for how much time he was going to miss, 2 to 5 weeks according to Ian Rappaport. So, of course, he misses that Saints game. Will he miss the Cardinals game? That will be at least 2 weeks. Or will he return? According to head coach Kyle Shanahan yesterday, he said that Purdy has a chance to play against Arizona. If he does not start, Mac Jones will. There's also a possibility that Purdy could be Mac Jones's backup. Purdy did return to practice yesterday. That's when he was a limited participant, and we'll see what happens with him today. Niners general manager John Lynch saying this today about Brock Purdy. I can tell you that it was encouraging to see him practice. The key now, how does he respond to that? We will make an organizational decision on where Brock's at later in the week, but it's encouraging to see him out there. According to a lot of buzz from other people and some stuff that I've heard, Niners very encouraged by Purdy's recovery here, and he made some strides late last week, and obviously that's carried over into this week. When I was watching Purdy on the practice field yesterday, I think there will still be some concerns about pushing off of that foot, and obviously it's not something that you want to make worse. For instance, you look at Joe Burrow, he suffered a worse turf toe injury. He needs to get surgery, and he's out all the way until December. So regardless of when Purdy comes back, him and the Niners really dodged a bullet here. All right, we're about to get our official show started. Wanted to get you the latest information on Brock Purdy, but our show is made possible today thanks to our friends at Prize Picks. Thanks to them for powering today's San Francisco 49ers Report. And look, you and I make decisions every day, but on Prize Picks, being right can get you paid. Don't miss any of the excitement this season on Prize Picks, where it's great to be right. Very simple to play. You just pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections. If you get your picks right, you could cash in. Prize Picks always puts their users first, so all withdrawals are fast, safe, and secure. Prize Picks offers Venmo, Apple Pay, MasterCard, and more for quick and easy deposits into your account this football season. And there's a reason why millions of people are signed up. This is the #1 daily fantasy sports app in North America. Our lineup for Sunday, Chips Picks, Christian McCaffrey, more than 36.5 receiving yards. Kyler Murray, less than 220.5 passing yards. And then Patrick Mahomes, the special, more than a half passing yards. So new users play $5, get $50 instantly in lineups. It's real money sports action made easy. Claim your $50 now. Use that code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, it's good to be right. Another reminder, get those questions in starting right now so that you can be a part of our mailbag. I want to take all of the questions that we can get here on the show. So use the hashtag 49ers or send in a super chat in our super chat battle. Yeah, it's an NFC West matchup and rivalry in week 3 on Sunday between the Niners and the Cardinals. We don't have a Cardinals channel yet. We're about to launch one. We do have a Seattle Seahawks channel, though, and earlier this week when they went live, $275 in super chats. Here on the 49ers Report, can we beat that number? It's always a competition here at Chat Sports. All right, if you're ready to go, well over 200 people watching live. I need everybody to hit that thumbs up icon, like the video. We're at 46 likes right now. We should be able to get to 100 in the next 30 seconds. So if you're ready to get the show underway, you're ready to talk some SAN-FRAN-CISCO, hit that thumbs up icon, like the video. I want to begin with a lot of encouraging news that Niner fans should be happy about and excited about to start off the 2025 season. That is going to be segment number 1, which is going to get underway here momentarily. You're watching the 49ers Report. We're live. My name is Chase Sr. It's a beautiful Thursday, September 18th. Chip's clapping it up. I want you to like it up. And let's get the official show started right now. Here we go. Welcome into the show. You're watching the San Francisco 49ers Report. My name is Chase Sr. And as always, no matter where you are or how you're tuned in, thank you so much for making today's show a part of your day. And what we're getting into here over the course of the next several minutes, there are a lot of and early developments that we've seen so far for San Francisco that serve as a lot of great news and developments for Niner fans and for this ball club here in 2025. And we're going to take a look at some offseason question marks that we had for this football team and some early season takeaways, which answer a lot of the question marks that we had for this team going into 2025. I do want to begin here, though, because I want to gauge where the fan base is at. And I do think the NFC West is going to be one of the most competitive divisions in all of football this year. And so far, the early returns from this division point to that, right? The Niners are 2-0. The Rams are 2-0. The Cardinals are 2-0. The Seahawks are 1-1. Niners, Cardinals going down on Sunday. So who is the biggest threat to San Francisco this year in this division? Type S for the Seahawks, R for the Rams, C for the Cardinals. Let your voices be heard here in on the show. And comment down below. All right, let's begin here. This sets the foundation for everything that we're talking about here on the program today, and we're going to get into all of these points here. The biggest concerns that I had for the Niners going into 2025, the youth on defense, the offensive line for San Francisco, overall roster depth because of all of the players they lost this offseason, the kicking game, goodbye Jake Moody, and overall team health because last year San Francisco, the number 1 most injured team in the NFL. And so we begin on the defensive side of the ball. How impressive has this defense been led by Robert Saleh? And what's crazy, the early returns that we've gotten from this Niners defense and how well they're playing already as the 3rd youngest defense in the National Football League. Here's where San Francisco ranks, and they could have never done this last year. Bad coaching, not enough depth, a lot of injuries, no adjustments made throughout the season or in-game, and schematically, they were very flawed. They were also bad in a couple of key areas, 3rd down in the red zone. And so the 49ers defense through 2 games, they are 7th among 32 teams in the NFL in points per game allowed at 17. They're 6th in yards given up per game at 268.5. Number 6 in yards per play at 4.6. 7th in 3rd down conversion rate. And the red zone defense, I'd like to see it improve here. I think it will. 66.6%, meaning when teams get inside the red zone, they're scoring touchdowns nearly 67% of the time. That ranks 20th. The Niners team DVOA in all 3 phases. I think they've played some pretty good complementary football to start analytically for DVOA, the special teams unit, 2nd to last in the NFL. I think a big reason for that, the 2 missed field goals in week 1. But on defense, they are 5th in DVOA. On offense, number 11, as a team, number 13. And a big reason why this defense has been playing well so early and surprising a lot of us, turning our heads in the process, it's how well these rookie defenders have played. And going into the year, I had said, there are going to be multiple rookies from this draft class who have an opportunity to start. And so far, we've seen a couple of them start, and they've been playing really well. Mykel Williams, Upton Stout, Marquise Siegel. The role for Alfred Collins got bigger from week 1 to week 2. Nick Martin has been a healthy scratch, but man, he showed a lot of flashes throughout the preseason. I think CJ West will start to play more at some point. And the Niners rookies against the Saints, they directly contributed to winning. And you have to imagine they can only continue to get better with this coaching staff, what they've shown, and the abilities that they possess. Mykel Williams was awesome against New Orleans. 5 tackles, 4 of which were solo, helped to push and collapse the pocket, and he was really good against the run. 2 TFLs. Upton Stout, he's gotten picked on a little bit and targeted the first 2 games of the year. That's expected, though. I just like the energy, the speed that he plays with, the aggression that he plays with. And against New Orleans, he had 5 tackles, 4 of which were solo. And Robert Saleh called his number on a corner blitz, and he had a sack of Spencer Rattler. Marquise Siegel, he's played really well the first 2 weeks. 6 tackles, 2 solos. Did give up a touchdown to Jauan Johnson, but Jauan Johnson had the size advantage. And then Alfred Collins, a bigger impact eye test-wise as compared to the box score, but he still had 2 tackles, 1 quarterback hit. The real estate that he was able to occupy at defensive tackle and the disruptive nature that he played with really caught my eye when I rewatched that game. And what you love to see, some improvements from these rookies from week 1 to week 2. This is what it's all about. And I know some people will say they're going to hit a rookie wall at some point. They're going to get tired. Didn't happen last year for the Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles. Quiniel Mitchell and Cooper DeJean were rookie starters for the number 1 defense, a team that won the Super Bowl, and they never hit that rookie wall. And so with advancements in medical technology and training and how this Niners defense has other stars on this team, I think that this rookie curve can be avoidable to a certain extent. But the week 1 to week 2 jump, Alfred Collins, these are Pro Football Focus overall grades, went from 27.9 to 62. Mykel Williams, 47 to 59.3. Upton Stout, 32.5 to 67.7. CJ West barely played the first 2 weeks. He went down 58.1 to 50.5. And then Marquise Siegel went down from 59.8 to 41.4. A big reason for that, he gave up the touchdown. But again, Jauan Johnson had the size advantage, and Spencer Rattler threw a great touch ball down the sideline. Here's what John Lynch said about this Niners defense and the job that Robert Saleh has been able to do so far. I love the style we're playing with. We're playing our brand of football, which is running to the football and arriving with bad intentions. I think if you have that as a foundation, we have a lot to do with talent, and it's going to continue to ascend and get better. I agree with that, and I love that term, playing defensive football with bad intentions. And going into week 3 here, we have a matchup between the 49ers and the Cardinals. This is a sneaky big matchup inside the NFC West. And sneakily, I think it's one of the best games on the week 3 slate across the NFL. Next up for this 49ers defense, a matchup and a battle against Kyler Murray. And it's been well documented that San Francisco's defense has struggled against mobile quarterbacks over the last few years. But a lot of these Niners defensive players really excited for this matchup because they've said that Robert Saleh has some tricks up his sleeve. And they're going to need it to stop Kyler Murray. He torched this Niners defense last year, 542 all-purpose yards and 6 touchdowns in Arizona's 2 wins against the Niners last year as the Cardinals pulled off the sweep of San Francisco. And Bosa said in the locker room on Wednesday, I'm excited about the plan this week to combat Kyler Murray. Robert Saleh even said, we've got some things that we have planned that are small, but they can accumulate to big things within the game plan. And I'm excited to see how it all plays out. Before we continue to move forward on today's show, be sure to hit that subscribe button for free daily content here on the 49ers Report. When you watch our shows, I want you to come away a more informed Niner fan. I want you to think a little bit. I want you to be entertained. I want you to have a voice. We're 422 people away from 171,000 subscribers. Let's continue to build the Niner empire here at Chat Sports. All right, still to come here on the show. And I started the show off in a particular way where I said there are a lot of early developments that Niner fans should be excited about here in 2025. And it's all about the concerns that we originally had for this team going into this year. And it looks as though we've answered some of those things. So stay tuned for that. Plenty more to get to here. Our sponsor for today's San Francisco 49ers Report, though, our friends at Prize Picks, the best daily fantasy sports app in the game. Right now, you can win big up to 2,000 times your money, and this is the best way to get action on sports all across America. It's simple to play. Just pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections. If you get your picks right, you could cash in. Prize Picks always puts their users first. All withdrawals, fast, safe, and secure. Prize Picks offers Venmo, Apple Pay, MasterCard, and more for quick and easy deposits into your account this football season. It's the best way to win cash this football season. Which players are going off? Which ones aren't? Make your picks in less than 60 seconds and turn your takes into cash all season long on Prize Picks. And our lineup for Sunday. Let's go with Christian McCaffrey, more than 36.5 receiving yards. Kyler Murray, less than 220.5 passing yards. And then the special this week from Prize Picks. Patrick Mahomes, more than a half passing yard. All he has to do is throw for 1 passing yard, and that's an automatic dub. Download the app today. Use the code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, it's good to be right. Of course, going into this year for the Niners, and over the last few years, right, we've had some concerns about this 49ers offensive line, but some really good early season developments up front in the trenches offensively for San Francisco here. And Jake Brendel has been one of the top centers in the NFL through 2 games, according to Pro Football Focus. I know a lot of you are surprised by that. Myself and Chip, we are as well. His overall PFF grade, 79.1. That is second among 44 centers in the league. His pass blocking grade is 12th at 68.7. Run blocking grade ranks 3rd at the position at 79.2. He has not given up a sack, has given up 4 pressures. That does rank 35. But if he continues to play like this all year, that will help out this Niners offense tremendously. At right tackle, not only is this big for the sake of this Niners team this year, but also the future, because San Francisco signed Colton McKivitz to a 3-year, $45 million contract. And we saw the leap from 2023 to 2024, and it looks as though maybe McKivitz is making more strides from 2024 to 2025, because he too has played pretty well to start the season. Overall PFF grade of 73.1, that's 14th among 94 offensive tackles. Pass blocking grade, 84.3, that's number 6. Run blocking grade, I think he'll get better here because that's a strong suit for him, and it has been despite some of his struggles. 63.8, that's 31st. The sack that he got docked for, it wasn't on him. Kyle Shanahan said that. I said it during the broadcast. He took the defensive end to the ground. Then the defensive end got up, and he sacked Mac Jones, who held onto the ball too long. And then McKivitz has also given up 2 pressures. So going into this year, a couple of question marks for the Niners, right? Center, right tackle. So far, Colton McKivitz playing well. So far, Jake Brendel playing well too. And then at left guard, we had question marks and concerns about Ben Bartch, a former 4th-round pick, because he's never stayed healthy. But then throughout the preseason, we started to see the rookie 7th-round pick out of Iowa, Connor Colby, start to make some strides. And Ben Bartch is now hurt again. He's on injured reserve with an ankle injury. And Connor Colby is now going to be the starter at left guard. I think this is a big upgrade for San Francisco. And I think the Niners may have found something in the 7th-round pick out of Iowa. In week 2, among all of the Niners offensive linemen, he had the lowest blown block percentage of any Niners up front in week 2. And that's a huge sign for him. And when I went back and watched the tape, it's a big sign for the Niners offense too. He was really impressive. The overall knowledge of the game, the cerebral nature from that left guard spot, the athleticism, and for a guy who's 6'5", he plays with really good bend, really good leverage, and he did some really nice things where he was able to pass blockers off, get to that second level, and I think him at left guard will help out this Niners offense because he's a better player than Ben Bartch, and also the 50 games started that he had at Iowa, that's helping him out early because he doesn't seem to be fazed by that much. And the overall roster depth was another issue that we had with this Niners ball club heading into this year. Well, thanks to what San Francisco did in the 2024 draft and the 2025 draft, this roster depth, I think, is better than all of us thought. And we've seen so far to start this season that this overall roster, I think, is in a good spot for this year, and it can continue to grow in future years. And when you hit on draft picks, it helps you tremendously on the salary cap because these players, if they end up being good, are cost-controlled assets. And John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan desperately needed to hit on the 2024 class and the 2025 class. I think they did. Look at the returns, the ROI, the returns on investment that the Niners have gotten already, and how bright the future looks here. Ricky Pearsall right now is the number one wideout. He's been great to start the year. He's a starter at wideout. Renardo Green, second-round pick. He is your starting outside corner opposite of Deommodore Lenoir. In the third round, Dominic Pooney, he's your starter at right guard. Malik Mustafa, fourth-round pick. Once he comes back, he's your starting safety. Isaac Arendo, I hope that he can stay healthy because the ability is there. Injuries are a concern, but he's helping you as the kick returner right now. Jacob Cowing, he's going to come back soon. Had a great spring. Jarrett Kingston, unfortunately, no longer on this team. The Niners tried to play roster Tetris with him last year, but he got poached. And then Tatum Bethune, I like his future as a developmental backup middle linebacker, and he's helping you on special teams too as a seventh-round pick. And then this 2025 draft class, Mykel Williams, first-round pick, starter. Alfred Collins at some point soon, going to be a starter. Nick Martin, I love the potential that he has. Upton Stout, starter. CJ West, his role will increase. Jordan Watkins was balling before the ankle injury. 4.3 speed. Jordan James, good running back for a fifth-round selection. Marquis Siegel, rookie starter. Curtis Rourke, a future number 3 quarterback. Connor Colby, starter at left guard. So San Francisco's been able to stockpile their roster with a lot of these young players here. Another issue that we had going into the year, and another concern, concerns about the kicking game. Jake Moody lasted one game. And how about everybody taking a victory lap, or at least some people taking a victory lap, after that game winner that he had in a preseason game against the Raiders, saying, Jake Moody, he's accepting all of your apologies right now. He lasted one game for San Francisco. Nearly cost them the game. Kyle Shanahan, John Lynch sleep on it, coming off that Seattle win, and they came into the office on Monday and they said, we can't continue to do this. So he's out, now on the Bears practice squad. Insert Eddie Pinheiro. What does he do in his first game as a Niner? 2 big kicks in that game of 40-plus yards. He's been one of the most accurate kickers of all time. 4th most accurate kicker in all of football, minimum 100 attempts. And what does he do against the Saints? No doubters from 40-plus. And then on the injury front, we posed this question going into this year. Can the Niners just stay healthy? Can the football gods help out San Francisco here? Especially with a couple of players, right? Most importantly for Christian McCaffrey. He has looked healthy. He has been a huge boost to this Niners offense in the red zone, as a route runner, as a ball carrier, as a pass protector, more than 100 all-purpose yards in each of the first 2 games of the year, and he looks good. Ricky Pearsall, I'd said he'll break out as long as he can stay healthy. He's been healthy up until this point. Hopefully that continues, and he's looked awesome. Ricky Pearsall this season has 8 catches. All of them have gone for first downs. For this Niners offense to be good this year, he needed to take a leap, and Slick Rick has taken that leap. And so 49ers fans should be encouraged by what they've seen from this team to start off 2025. And I think the arrow is once again pointing up for San Francisco here, now and in the future. And it quickly can make us forget about what happened last year when the Niners went 6-11. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button here for the best Niners coverage right here on YouTube. We have shows coming your way every single day. All right, our Super Chat battle, Seahawks today. $275 in Super Chats earlier this week. With a couple of Super Chats that came in during that first segment, we're up to $12. Let's go. So we're closing in on that number. Can we take down that number? We'll get to those Super Chats here momentarily because I did see a couple come in. Shout out to some of our recent commenters here. Kenneth, Johnny, Ron, Carlos. You're all legends. Ryan sending in a Super Chat as well. A 5-piece right there. Thank you, Ryan, for that. Joji Kanishiwa Chase Sr. What's up, Joji? Are we having trouble pulling those again? Chet? Are we having trouble pulling those supers again? Okay. So let me read these out here. Google is just cucking ship right now. EC, $2 Super Chat. Will the Niners have a good season this year? So far, so good. And I think that they can continue to have a good year. By the way, we'll include these Super Chats in our mailbag as we always do. Big Hurt finally caught a live show for a change. Keep me in your thoughts, Faithful. I have surgery tomorrow. Already told the hospital to release me by Sunday morning or I am walking out anyway. Big Hurt. I love the dedication to the Niners, man. Thoughts and prayers to you. Sending strength, positive vibes, and a fast, quick recovery to you. And hopefully you're out of there by Sunday so that you can be donning some Niners gear and you can watch that game. Ryan, $5 Super Chat. Our defense needs to be aggressive and contain Kyler Murray in the pocket or that man-child will run up and down the field on Sunday. For sure. And I'll expand on that during our mailbag coming up, segment number 3. How about Kyler Murray this week posting a photo, him and his dog look to be a pit bull, in a Michael Vick Virginia Tech jersey. Probably not the best decision to do that. And he had to apologize for that yesterday. I mean, how dumb can you be? Not wise. Northern DC, wow, poll numbers so far are very interesting. Yeah, so what I mean by this question, who should start on Sunday? Mac Jones or Brock Purdy? 65% going Mac Jones, 35% Brock Purdy. I don't think that's people saying that Mac Jones is better. But as we talked about on the show yesterday, this is people saying, we saw what Mac Jones can do. The Niners showed that they can win with Mac Jones. Mac Jones showed that he can play well. Why risk Brock Purdy to injury? If Brock Purdy is still hurt, I think people have confidence in Mac Jones, which is why that number is 65-35. EC, $2. Thank you for that. Again, these will be on our mailbag. Big Hurt with that 10. I read all of these out too. And then Ryan with that 5. My man. Appreciate that. I know. Chip had to reset his password during a live show in order to show those Super Chats. All right. We'll get to segment number 2 here momentarily. Seahawks today doing 275 in Super Chats earlier this week. We're at 17. A lot of room to make up, but we can change that in an instant.
Don't forget as well, keep getting those questions in. Gonna do a mailbag here shortly, and we got a few Super Chats. Appreciate those. And question-wise, just got Lore and Baby Ski with questions in there right now. Use the hashtag 49ers in your comment. Get a question in.
And obviously, we'll include those Super Chats as well. 2 more Super Chats coming in. A couple of 5 pieces here. We'll spend a couple of moments on those, and then we'll get to segment number 2. Niners made a couple of roster moves that we're going to talk about, and a concern from last year that is still lingering that we need to monitor. That's coming up next here on the show. Brandon L., $5 Super Chat. I would save Brock Purdy for the Rams game. So the Niners coming up, Cardinals Sunday, Jags next Sunday, Rams on Thursday night. short week. CDL, cigar and golf. Love me some cigars, man. If you're a cigar guy, good stuff. Salute to the Niner gang worldwide. Looking good so far. Hope to see all of you for Sunday night and that matchup against the Dirty Birds. Vegas Niner fam. Yeah, so that'll be Niners-Falcons Sunday Night Football in a few weeks. Looking forward to that one too. Looks as though CDL is going to hit that game. All right, we're up to 275 in Super Chats. Catching up the Seahawks today. Still a couple of segments left to get to. And we'll move on to segment number 2, which is coming up right now. Continue to hang out here with us. The San Francisco 49ers have made a couple of roster moves. We're going to get into those. Also, there is a problem with this 49ers offense that was an issue in 2024. That same issue has lingered into 2025, and we need to continue to monitor that. That's all coming up. You're watching the 49ers Report. My name is Chase Sr., and as always, thank you so much for hanging out here with me. There are so many great content creators out there who cover the Niners on a daily basis, great broadcasters who are on a bunch of platforms who talk about this team every day, whether it be on YouTube, on TV, digitally, on the radio, blogs, websites, newspapers. So anytime you decide to hang out here with me, I really, really do appreciate that. Programming reminder, by the way, don't forget to hit that subscribe button for daily and year-round coverage of the Niners, but also we go live for every single Niners game. We're doing it once again in Week 3. Niners, Cardinals, NFC West game. That is a big one on the Week 3 slate, live here on the show. If you've never been a part of our watch party, it's the best place to experience a Niners game day outside of being at the actual game, so I hope to see all of the real ones there on Sunday afternoon. All right, let's go through a few of the Niners roster moves that they have made here recently. Left guard Ben Bartch, placed on injured reserve with a high ankle sprain. Unfortunately for Bartch, who was brought back this offseason on a cheap deal, and I thought he had an opportunity to start at left guard, and he really did show some flashes last year and played well before he got hurt. He is once again injured. This has been the book on him throughout his career since he was a 4th-round pick by the Jacksonville Jaguars. He didn't stay healthy with Jacksonville. Hasn't stayed healthy with San Francisco. And clearly the Niners had similar plans to what I envisioned for Bartch, because going into the year they had him listed and he lined up with the first-string offense at left guard. But the injury history, it is long, and it's even longer than this. These are just injuries that have kept him out for a very long time, putting him on IR and ending his seasons. He's been banged up with a variety of injuries also on top of this. In 2022, Week 5, dislocated his knee with Jacksonville, placed on injured reserve. Last year for San Francisco when he filled in for Aaron Banks, high ankle sprain, went on IR. And then Week 2 against the Saints, high ankle sprain, and he's been placed on injured reserve. Throughout the spring for the Niners, throughout the summer, training camp, preseason, even to start the year, he has been hurt, and it just looks as though Ben Bartch is a very injury-prone player. And so with him going on IR, the Niners have a new, intriguing, and I think an upgrade of a player who will now fill in for him at that left guard spot. And it is Connor Colby, the 7th-round pick out of Iowa, who in the run game is very familiar with what San Francisco likes to do with this outside zone under Kyle Shanahan, because Iowa did a lot of outside zone. And Connor Colby really started to make a lot of strides throughout training camp and in the preseason, graded out well in the preseason games. And then against the New Orleans Saints, I thought he played really well. And when I went back to watch the tape, I was highly impressed with what Colby was able to do. From a run blocking standpoint, some of the blocks that he had in the ground game, the cerebral nature to his game, just being able to pass off defenders, work to that second level, having a good awareness for what his assignments are, because being an offensive lineman in this scheme is not easy. And what I really like so far for Colby, I know with what he did at Iowa, he's going to be able to be a good run blocker in this offense. But Chris Forster said this during training camp, he's actually been better, making more strides, and is ahead of the curve as a pass blocker instead of as a run blocker. And so this is something that he can really build off of. And if the Niners found a starting left guard in the 7th round who's very cheap and affordable over the course of the next few years, really helps out this ball club that had to eat a lot of dead money as they flipped this roster on its head this offseason. Colby against New Orleans, pass blocking grade of 73.5, did not have a penalty, did not give up a sack, did not give up a hit, did not surrender a pressure. And in the pre-draft process, this was a player in Colby who athletically tested very well. He earned a 9.66 relative athletic score grade, and we talked about this post-draft. He's very tall for being a left guard, but he plays with good bend, flexibility, and leverage at 6'5". And so what you really like here is just all of the green on your screen. I mean, a 9.66 relative athletic score is no joke. And he moved very well at the NFL Combine in Indianapolis, a 5.11 40-yard dash. Roster move number 3 for San Francisco. Tight end Braden Willis has been elevated from the practice squad to the active roster. He was a game day elevation for the Saints game, but with George Kittle on injured reserve, obviously the Niners need another tight end because of all of the 12 personnel and 21 personnel sets that they run. And so Braden Willis, for the foreseeable future until Kittle comes back, will be the 3rd tight end behind Luke Farrell and behind Jake Tonjes. Willis, a 7th-round pick out of Oklahoma in the 2023 draft, that wasn't a good one for San Francisco, which is why the Niners really had to hit on the draft classes in 2024 and 2025. Willis does have a lot of versatility as far as his role. He could play tight end, he could play H-back, he can play fullback, and he can contribute on special teams as well. He was targeted once by Mac Jones against the Saints. It was a throw toward the sideline that was too inside. It got tipped up, and Mac Jones was lucky that pass didn't get intercepted. And then roster move number 4, the Niners have signed offensive lineman Brandon Parker to the practice squad. He is back with San Francisco. He was a part of this team in 2024. The Niners did work him out earlier this week. We talked about this on the show. He was one of the workouts among 5 offensive linemen who worked out for the Niners. And usually when San Francisco does that, at least this year, because of all of the injuries that they've had, especially in the lead up to the year, it usually signifies that a signing is coming, either to the practice squad or the active roster. And so Parker added to the taxi squad. 6'8", 320, really good size. 2018 third-round pick by the Las Vegas Raiders. He's never quite lived up to where he was drafted, unfortunately for him, but he does have a lot of experience. 59 games, 33 starts. He was with the Niners in 2024, and he's 29 years old. Just some offensive line depth for San Francisco here. So those are the roster moves that the Niners have made. Still to come here on the show, there is a 49ers problem, which was an issue last year, that has so far been a problem, and we have to continue to monitor that. But I'm also going to explain why this problem might be solved soon. You don't want to miss that. Continue to hang out here with us, and why would you go anywhere else? We're talking Niners here on the show. I do want to plug this deal, thanks to our friends at Fanatics, though. These rivalry jerseys and rivalry merchandise, they were released a couple of weeks ago. I frankly like them. The saloon font, Niners going to wear this week 18 against the Seattle Seahawks. You can get these rivalry jerseys now. Now, these black jerseys were debuted a few years ago when the Niners were bad. I think it was in 2018, Kyle Shanahan's second year. I really like the new iteration of these jerseys. And I know some opinions have been up and down, but you can get these jerseys and rivalry merch now at chatsports.com/49rivalry. There's some really good deals as well. Jerseys, hats, Nike shirts. Get your gear now. Hoodies as well. You can find it all if you use our exclusive link, chatsports.com/49rivalry, and you can get some discounts on some of these items if you use our link, thanks to our friends at Fanatics. Once again, it's chatsports.com/49rivalry. All right, let's get to this. A problem to monitor for San Francisco. The 49ers in 2024 really struggled offensively in the red zone. They struggled defensively in the red zone, but specifically on offense, it's a glaring problem and issue because of all of the talent on that side of the ball and because Kyle Shanahan is the head coach and he's looked at as an offensive guru. And the Niners' red zone woes last year were an issue partially because they played so many close games, so many one-possession games. Jake Moody missed so many field goals. And so if San Francisco could have finished drives with touchdowns instead of field goals, their 6-11 record would have been a lot better. In 2024, the Niners' red zone touchdown scoring percentage, which means anytime a team gets inside the 20, how often are they scoring a touchdown? It was 57.1%. That was 14th in the NFL, about middle of the pack. While through 2 games this year, San Francisco is 4 of 7 in the red zone. Funny enough, the red zone touchdown scoring percentage, the exact same number at 57.1%. Among the 32 teams, that actually ranks worse than it did last year. Last year, 14th. This year to start, 17th. But I do think that number will improve, and I think that number should improve. First of all, this Niners offensive line has been better to start the year this year than it was last year. San Francisco also to start this year has won 2 different games on the road with 2 different quarterbacks. Once you get more continuity, I think it helps out, especially in the red zone, because the field gets condensed and offenses are easier to defend because defenses don't have to defend as much grass, right? Also on top of that, George Kittle is going to come back once he comes off of IR with that hamstring injury. The only red zone drive that he was a part of was a touchdown against Seattle. So he's a great red zone threat for this Niners offense. Brandon Ayuk is going to come back, and there continues to be more videos of Brandon Ayuk working out. He's really starting to run well. And so once he comes back, he should only help out this Niners red zone attack because he is such a good route runner where he's able to beat a lot of press man and closely contested coverage with his footwork and with his ability to win one-on-ones. And when you have players like Kittle and Ayuk as added complements to a healthy Christian McCaffrey, with an offensive line playing well, with more continuity at quarterback, with Jauan Jennings also on the field, Ricky Pearsall, who like Ayuk, can win with short area quickness, wiggle, and route running, I think this Niners red zone offense is going to get better and improve upon that 57.1% mark. But if it continues to linger, something that we have to keep in mind. Don't forget to give me a follow on X and Instagram, by the way. If you like what I do here on YouTube, I'm always talking Niners in short form on my social media pages, so give me a follow over there. We continue to reach millions and millions of people here on YouTube and on social media. Mailbag coming up next. Can't wait to take your questions. Continue to get those questions in using the hashtag 49ers or send in a super chat.
Let's see. How are we doing on these questions?
Yeah, how we done?
I'm still only seeing the question from Lore and the question. Oh, there's one from Joji coming in. There we go, Joji.
Joji. I see you.
It's an interesting question here from Joji. We'll get to that in the mailbag for
we'll get
sure.
to that.
Lore, I assume your question is about Purdy versus Mac Jones, so we'll get to that.
Yep.
Baby Ski with a good question as well. We got those super chats. Last chance to get your questions in. Probably got room for a couple more. So again, use that hashtag 49ers. If you send in a super chat with a Niners related question, we'll answer that at the start of the show. Guaranteed to get your question answered. Flashpoint, asking about Mac Jones and Brock Purdy. I agree. No need to rush Brock.
Yeah.
I agree for sure. Jose, I don't believe that these Niners rivalry jerseys are sold out. I'm looking on here. When I click that link I put in the chat, I mean, Bosa, they have every size from small to 2XL. Fred Warner, they still have small, medium, and extra large.
Yeah.
Purdy, they still have everything from medium to 3XL. So a lot of sizes still available for these jerseys. They might have restocked them. They might have sold out and then gotten restocked. Yeah, McCaffrey, I'm seeing.
I think when
size.
the jerseys dropped, they may have sold out quickly.
Yeah.
Also, like, that was the original, maybe limited supply. But, yeah, with Fanatics hooking y'all up, Use those links. All right, let's do our mailbag. Up to $27 in super chats. Jeannie Wyatt.
Oh!
$20 super chat. That gets us up to 47. Faithful ladies, bang, bang, Niners. Purdy playing in the first half. Jones play the second half. Offensive line needs to protect our quarterback. Second half, no 15-yard penalties. No more missed tackles. CMC needs to have protection while running the ball. Yeah, I think the Niners' run offense and rushing offense will be a little bit better, Jeannie. You think about what the Saints did. They really loaded the box and had a lot of players around the line of scrimmage. And so naturally, it's going to be hard to run it against that type of defensive alignment. And against Seattle, they have a terrific defensive line. So I think eventually the Niners rushing offense will be better. I'd say right now it's been efficient, but not explosive. And obviously you want it to be a little bit more explosive. All right. Mailbag coming up. Continue to get those questions in. If you send in a super chat, guaranteed to answer your question. And let's do that right now. This is the San Francisco 49ers Report. My name is Chase Sr. Hope all of you out there are having a fantastic weekend by the time that this video comes out. Coming up here on the show, we're going to do a mailbag. We're talking all things Niners heading into week 3. Really big game between the Niners and the Cardinals. And as always, I love chopping it up with all of our great and wonderful viewers and subscribers. Become a member today. Hit that subscribe button. All of our content is free. I'm never going to put it behind a paywall. And if you want daily shows on the Niners, you want to be a part of our mailbags because our channel is very interactive. Hit that subscribe button and let's get in the process to 171,000 subscribers. And let's begin with this $20 super chat from Jeannie Wyatt, representing for all the faithful ladies out there. If you're a faithful lady, let us know down in the comments section by typing faithful lady. It's kind of a movement for all of the Niner fans who are women out there. Bang, bang, 49ers. Brock Purdy plays the first half. Mac Jones the second half. Offensive line needs to protect our quarterback. Second half, no dumb 15-yard penalties. No more missed tackles. Christian McCaffrey needs to have protection while running the ball. So a lot to talk about there with Jeannie. Look, this isn't college, right? You're not going to split a half for each quarterback. What I think San Francisco should do, just play Mac Jones. Brock Purdy is not going to be 100% healthy. Let him rest again. Mac Jones proved that he can play well under Kyle Shanahan. We saw why Kyle Shanahan liked him in the pre-draft and wanted to bring him back. He can play point guard in this offense where he can distribute the ball. 8 different players caught a pass against New Orleans. He showed that he can play well in this Niners offense. The Niners proved that they can win with Mac Jones. I think that they can still beat a really up-and-coming Arizona team with a really good and impressive defense. And you don't want to risk Brock Purdy further injuring that toe. Another thing with Purdy, what makes him so dangerous and difficult to defend, his ability to improvise, to make plays out of structure, to create with his feet and his legs. If he has to solely stay in between the tackles inside that tackle box and he can't run around because of that turf toe injury, I don't want him on the field. I don't want him getting re-injured for a guy who you paid $55 million to. Ginny also makes a couple of good points. No dumb penalties in a game that I think is going to be close and decided on the margins. No missed tackles, especially against this Cardinals team that with Kyler Murray, he's very difficult to defend when he runs the football because he, like Brock Purdy, can extend plays, but he's more fleet of foot than Brock, and he's very quick. And so in defending Kyler Murray, you have to have disciplined pass rush lanes, you have to keep him contained inside the pocket, and you have to tackle well. And this has been an issue with the Niners, especially against Arizona in years previous. They haven't tackled well, especially in the ground game. Well, what does Arizona rely on? Their ground game to be successful. And then lastly with McCaffrey, you think about how the Saints defended the Niners. They loaded the box, and they had a lot of players around the line of scrimmage. And so San Francisco was running into heavy boxes. Naturally, it's going to be difficult to run when there are more bodies in the box. I think San Francisco's running game has been efficient to a certain degree to start the year, just not explosive. But as George Kittle comes back, Brandon Ayuk comes back, and the Niners can spread things out and have more talent through the air, I think the boxes become lighter, opening up the ground game. Brandon L. with this $5 super chat, I would save him, talking about Brock Purdy, for the Rams game. I think that's somewhat of a smart play. I mean, if you beat Arizona, you're 3-0. And if Mac Jones plays well again, great. Even if he plays well, Niner fans, can we relax here? Mac Jones should be the starter. Brock Purdy shouldn't be. Get out of here. Brock Purdy is worlds better than Mac Jones. But this is the job of a backup. Keep the team's head above water when you have to be thrust into action while the starting quarterback is out. It was great that Mac Jones played well against the Saints. If he plays well again against the Cardinals, awesome. Maybe you can afford to give Purdy more time. You're going to be hosting the Jacksonville Jaguars. They've looked better with Liam Cohen than they did last year with Doug Peterson. But regardless, you should beat Jacksonville. And by the time that Rams game comes up, the following week, on a short week, Thursday Night Football, SoFi Stadium, you have to imagine Purdy is going to be feeling pretty damn good. So I don't hate that strategy, depending on how Brock Purdy responds all week with how he feels. Ryan, $5. Our defense needs to be aggressive and contain Kyler Murray in the pocket, or that man-child will run up and down that field on Sunday. You want to talk about not having a pulse and doing something that is so idiotic? Kyler Murray this week posted a photo on Instagram of him wearing a Michael Vick Virginia Tech jersey with his pit bull. Kyler Murray, what are you doing? Now, that's a dumb decision off the field. As for Kyler Murray, on the field, obviously that's what we're worrying about here this week between the Niners and the Cardinals. He's completing 70% of his passes so far this year. The Cardinals' offense has struggled to close out games. Something else that is very odd. They're running the ball well as a team, more than 5 yards per carry. Trey McBride, the tight end, putting up really good production. They're really not targeting their wideouts in the pass game. So that's been an odd trend early on this year for Arizona. But Kyler Murray, for sure, is very difficult to defend. And how the Niners can contain him, partially to your point, you have to have disciplined pass rush lanes. And in this wide nine, this is where the wide nine can really hurt San Francisco because of the wide alignment. They get aggressive upfield trying to get after the quarterback. Well, what does that naturally lead to? Open running lanes for quarterbacks to take off. And then that first and second level is left vacant for the defense, right? You also have to set the edge and keep him contained. He is a shorter quarterback. He doesn't see the middle of the field all that well. And so once he starts to feel pressured, he's going to use those quick little feet to jet to the outside to his right or the left to open up his sight line, but to also try to create plays with his feet. When the pass rush gets upfield, the Niners linebackers have to secure that second level, and San Francisco's going to have to tackle well. Wouldn't be surprised if we see a quarterback spy from time to time. Also, twists and stunts, going to be important. Kyler last year against San Francisco, more than 500 all-purpose yards and 6 touchdowns in 2 wins, a clean sweep of the Niners. Robert Saleh, Nick Bosa, other defensive players, they have said, we've got some secrets up our sleeve to defend Kyler Murray. I hope so, because this is a Niners defense that has really struggled against mobile quarterbacks of late. EC, $2. Will the Niners have a good season this year? I think they will end up having a good year. Look, they're 2-0. They've won 2 games on the road with 2 different quarterbacks. To win with a backup, you can always chalk it up as a win. I think this Niners offense has looked good in moments, and I'm kind of talking about storylines, right? Has Christian McCaffrey looked good? He has, and he's looked healthy. Has his offensive line played well? It has. You needed a leap from Ricky Pearsall? You've gotten it. Jauan Jennings, he's played well. Well, what happens when George Kittle, Brandon Ayuk, and Demarcus Robinson come back? That's going to help out this offense. Was anybody expecting this defense, with all of these rookies having to play and new faces having to play, to be this good this early when they've been a top 10 overall defense? I don't think anybody really expected that this early. And so those are good returns. On special teams, I think they've been better too. So I do think that they will be good this year. Of course, they're going to have to continue to stay healthy. What I also like, they've won close games, whereas last year, they lose those close games. So I do think that they will have a better year this year than last year, which was nightmarish for all of us. We'll get to more of your questions coming up here in a moment, but be sure to download the PrizePicks app. PrizePicks.com/CLNS. And when you use the code CLNS, when you play your first $5 lineup, you get $50 back in lineups. This is the #1 fantasy sports app. Millions of people are signed up all across the country. You can win big up to 2,000 times your money. And it's very easy to play. You just pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections. And if you win big, you can win up to 2,000 times your money. You can also get your picks in less than 60 seconds. All withdrawals are fast, safe, and secure. So PrizePicks really values all of their users. And this is how the game is played on the more or less front. Christian McCaffrey, let's say more than 36.5 receiving yards against Arizona. Kyler Murray, less than 220.5 passing yards. And then the special this week, Patrick Mahomes, more than a half passing yard. Obviously, he's going to throw for 1 yard or more. New users, play $5, get $50 instantly in lineups. This is real money sports action made easy. Claim your $50 now. PrizePicks has invented the flex play. Also, if a player gets injured in the first half, PrizePicks isn't going to dock you, which is awesome. Ryan, something we all keep in mind. Arizona has some injury issues on their defense. Our offense needs to take advantage of that. And if you watched our 30-minute preview that I put up on the channel on Tuesday, the most in-depth preview that you'll find here on YouTube, in my opinion, because I'm very confident in the content that we produce, I talked about some of those injuries. 3 marquee corners for Arizona got hurt in week 2. And we'll see how they look here and if they can play in week 3. Max Melton, Will Johnson, Garrett Williams all going down. Keep in mind, I'm recording this on Thursday. The Cardinals historically so late with all of their injury information. Defensive lineman L.J. Collier left the game with a knee injury. And then prior to the year, first-round pick Walter Nolan placed on PUP. And the same for Bilal Nichols. So this is a banged-up Cardinals team. I will say this. Their defensive line, it's pretty scary good. Joji Chase Sr., is it possible to convert Tatum Bethune to safety because of the emergence of D. Winters? Joji always tuned in from Japan. No. Tatum Bethune is a linebacker. And Tatum Bethune is a good developmental linebacker on this team who I think can end up being a really solid addition as a 7th-round pick. The thing with Tatum Bethune, he's pretty slow, which is why I think he's best suited to play middle linebacker, because I don't think he has the speed to play strong side linebacker or weak side linebacker. And I know safeties usually sometimes are failed corners because they're too slow to play corner, but I think Tatum Bethune way too slow and too big to play the safety position. But Tatum Bethune, a good backup behind Fred Warner. He's a very smart, heady player who you can see when you watch him play, plays with good feel and good instincts, good special teams player, but he's not a safety in this league. Plus, the Niners have some decent depth at safety, and keep in mind, Malik Mustafa's going to come back. James, thank you for this one. There is no threat to the 49ers. No Rams, no Seahawks, no Cardinals. We're there to sweep the division. Wow. James, if the Niners sweep the division, I owe you like 20 push-ups here on the show, man, because I would be impressed by that. Now, I think San Francisco can win this division, no doubt about it, but I do think this division is very tight and closely contested, and I think it's one of the more interesting divisions in football. You know, going into week 3, Niners 2-0, Cardinals 2-0, Rams 2-0, the Seahawks 1-1. I think the Seahawks are really good. I think by season's end, they're going to have a top 5, top 10 defense. But I think the division is going to be like this all year, where it's very close. And honestly, I think either team, any team, has an opportunity to hoist the NFC West crown and host a playoff game. But Beesky, Which unit is better right now, defense or offense? I mean, if you want to talk about DVOA, it's the Niners defense over the Niners offense. Defensively, statistically, San Francisco's defense has fared better. The DVOA numbers as a team, the Niners in that middle area among the 32 teams in the league, number 13. Offensively, number 11. Defense, 5th. Special teams, 31st. I actually think eye test-wise, they've been a little bit better than that. So which unit has been better? I think it's the defense. But also, the Niners offense has had 2 different quarterbacks in 2 different games. Matthew Romero, what is your score prediction? I predicted the score for Niners Cardinals earlier this week on the preview. I think Chip has it. We'll pop it up. Yeah, I think it's a lower scoring game. I think it's a close game that once again comes down to the fourth quarter, like the first 2 weeks. I think the Niners win 25-20. 25-20 is my final score. With that, Chip's just on it today, man. His brain is just clicking. I want you to predict the score. Cardinals, Niners, week 3, Levi Stadium, home opener. Let me know. Another super chat came in there. Alex Queros, keep up the good coverage, Chase. Thank you, my man. I do appreciate that. BK from the Bay. What's good, Chase? What's good, BK? How goes it, man? How goes it? Alex, appreciate that.
Sir, good stuff today.
Yeah,
Good
stuff,
questions.
everybody.
Good stuff.
Got up to nearly $50 in super chats. Let's pop up our 2-minute super chat shot clock. Last opportunity for everybody here to get your super chats in. 2-minute super chat shot clock. That's a 2-minute warning before we sign off. Our super chat battle. Seahawks today did 275 earlier this week. Can we beat that? Can we throw the Hail Mary and beat them?
Come on. Pretty fitting, though. We're at $49.
49 for the 49ers. It's got to be some good juju. Wayne said 24-17 Niners. BK from the Bay, same exact score. Alex, 19-17. I like that. I like that. Joe Carmack. What's up, Joe? Always commenting on our videos. Niners have a top-tier defense, y'all. So far, they have had a top-tier defense.
I like this question from Joji.
Joji!
If the Niners go on to make the Super Bowl, didn't say win, but make at least, will we lose Salah to another team next year?
Potentially. I wonder if Salah would just like to stay. Maybe give it another year. I think also with head coaching searches for candidates, it comes down to the position and the organization that you're going to. Salah had to deal with one of the more dysfunctional organizations in the sport. And so let's say the Cincinnati Bengals or the Miami Dolphins, they have an opening. Does Salah say, I got to go to another one of those organizations that has had no structure or stability, that has been dysfunctional? He might shy away from that. He might wait for a better opportunity to open up, and maybe that opportunity doesn't come in the next cycle. Garrett, $20 super chat. Appreciate that, my man. With all of the Cardinals' injuries, keep in mind you expect the Niners to get Kendrick Bourne more involved, especially with the chemistry for Mac Jones. Also, do you see Ricky doing well? I thought Kendrick Bourne was awesome. Obviously he had like 3 catches for 33 yards or something like that. But he had those catches in big spots in the ball game. I thought he brought really good energy to this Niners offense. I thought he run blocked very well. He, as Kyle Shanahan said, was Jauan Jennings before Jauan Jennings. Like, he'll get slimy, he'll get grimy, he'll get it out of the mud, and I love it. And so I expect Bourne to be used in that type of way, right? He's not going to take the top off of the defense. On critical downs, he's going to be a go-to guy. And do I expect Ricky to do well? I mean, shoot, the first 2 weeks of the year, he's been awesome. All of his catches have gone for first down so far. He's making plays downfield, and that has been a pleasant surprise. He looks to be a player. All right, we're going to sign off. Thank you to everybody for hanging out. It was great hanging out with you on this Thursday afternoon. Thanks for the super chats. Thanks for the support. We'll be live Sunday. Cardinals, Niners, a big one inside the NFC West. I can't wait for it. See you then.